Stop number 18 on the Castrol GTX Cup Series brings us back to where it all began on at the first of the season. Back to Daytona International Speedway, where we of course earlier in the season we saw the Daytona 500. This season we are back here for the mid-season classic, the Pepsi 400, as we're set for 24 laps of action on this 2.5-mile racetrack here at the track known as the World Center of Speed, Daytona. Obviously, and obviously one of the racing capitals of the world, race right up there with places like Charlotte and Indianapolis, obviously, as well, too. And it's an all-Ford front row for this event here today. Jessica Shelton has the pole for this event, headed over 191 miles an hour, with Keith Batson qualifying outside pole at well, same speed as Shelton. He also over 191 on his qualifying lap. We'll give you the starting lineup here in just a moment, as the field of 41 sits there waiting for the board to fire the engines here for the season. We are 17 races on the books and 17 races left to go on the season. So we are halfway home after a tremendous race we had at Michigan, the last race on the tour. But as we get to this point of the season, though, we start thinking about points, obviously, and Jessica Shelton is on the pole for this event, as we mentioned. She's also the points leader coming into this event, too, after coming up fresh off her second-place finish at Michigan, the last race on the tour. Keith Batson very well much in the top 10 in the points, though, despite not yet won. Can one of those two do it here today, or here? Well, we'll find out. But of course, you know there's 39 other cars that can spoil the plans of the delicate apple cart as the front two starters. So here's the starting lineup for this running of the event here, the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. So that was your starting lineup for today's running event here, and here comes the command to fire the engines for the Pepsi 400 under the lights here at Daytona. Sometimes I think the guys who do give the commands sometimes forget there's 4 ladies in the field. In fact, especially one of those 4 is starting on the pole for this event. So anyway, here. Field rolling off here. Some of the cars taking off very slowly here. And here back at Daytona, and already we have one car on the apron of the track. That's Phil Parker, who was to start this race. Who was to start this race in 8th position. He is on the bottom of the track. Apparently, maybe following the pace car on the pit road before the green flag even drops. So that's going to move Jacob Thibodeau in the 33 car up to the 8th starting spot here on. Phil Parker was going for the sweep at Daytona, too, after having won the Daytona 500. And apparently there may be no Pepsi 400 sweep for him this season, obviously. Or no Pepsi 400 win to sweep the season here as the pace car ducks off on the pit road. And the green flag flies and win. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys and girls. I said sweep the season for Phil Parker. I mean sweep the season at Daytona is what I'm meaning by, too. And that obviously is not going to happen for that 5 car. And he was to have had one of our in-car cameras in today's event, too, talking about Phil Parker. The other 2, of course, at this moment are the 17 car of Levi McIntyre and the 21 car of Quentin Moore as the other 2 drivers with in-car cameras for today's event. It looks like they'll be the only 2. That's almost what it's looking like here. As the field goes into turn number 3, already over 195 miles an hour. Heading off into the 3rd turn, Jessica Shelton leads them down as they go through turns number 3 and 4. First lap tied at 182 miles an hour, but don't count on that being the pace for this race here because there'll be a whole lot more faster than that as the race goes on. And Jessica Shelton has pulled out to a rather substantial lead right now here, lead by McIntyre. Trying to close up here, lead by a former winner of this race here at Daytona. And you're on board lead by McIntyre's car as he goes into turn number 3. And McIntyre will take a Chevrolet to the top spot here as they complete lap numero dos and 202 miles an hour on that last lap by the leader. So, and these cars in testing, by the way, during happy hour, they were hitting 208 miles an hour in the draft under cool conditions, and so these cars will be plenty fast here today. Obviously, of course, as Larry McReynolds and Darrell Walter says, the nighttime is the right time. And they are surely showing it here today at Daytona as Kyle Matthews goes low. Matthews has never won a Pepsi before, but he has won a Daytona 500 before in this series. As he'll come off turn number 4, Matthews takes car number 42 to the front now. Comes into this race 16th in the points. That's a bit low for Matthews, too. And hopes to pick up some points and positions as the season now heads for the second half of the year. Off turn number 2 here, Mike Becker now goes to second place now in car number 43. Up to third now is Adam Garcia, who had a great run at Michigan, the last race on the tour. Came home in that race in 5th position. It's only his second top 5 of the season. His other top 5 came right here at the Daytona 500, which was his second. Which was his only top 5. He finished second in that race to Phil Parker. And as for Phil Parker, let's see where he's at. Where is he at, by the way? Is he on pit road or is he? Nope, he's now back on the racetrack here. He's 41st position is where Parker's at. So Phil Parker definitely looking for a caution flag, obviously, but not. Is obviously definitely looking for a caution flag to catch back up though. But unfortunately for him, he's a lap down already, so he's set on pit road probably for a lap for maybe repairs for God knows what. But back up to the front position here, Joshua Osborne now goes to the lead in car 31, the man who won at Dover this season. The number 31 Goodwrench Mom and Pop's Chevrolet. Matthews second position here. Nathan Ormond now goes in the 3rd position in car number 6 and now trying for second. And he's got second position now, so move the number 6 Valvoline Ford up to the number 2 spot. Ormond has had some really good runs. He had a good run going at Michigan until he got caught up in a late race wreck. And Nathan has not been satisfied with results in that car's. And those positions those finishes that Ormond's been getting this over the course of the season, though, is not indicative of what this car is capable of running. So you can bet that Ormond, if he would like to get another good run here, maybe possibly get his first win of his career in this series, or possibly maybe today, or if not today, maybe possibly somewhere before the season even ends. Here in this number 6 Valvoline machine. And as we were talking about him, Ormond leads his first lap of the race here. Matt McIntyre in a Quaker State car goes to second position now. 2 wins this season for Matt, as he won this season at Richmond, and he also won at California Speedway. And now he looks to the inside here. A pair of motor oil companies going at it here. Valvoline versus Quaker State into the 3rd turn, and both of them are Fords here. One's 26 and the other's 6. As they come through turns 3 and 4, and Matt McIntyre brings that green and white Ford to the top spot now. And Christian Russell, number 7, up to second place now. Or tries for second place. Here comes Dylan Poteet's going to make a 3 wide for second position now. Boy, just tremendous racing in these first 7 laps of this race here at Daytona. And we have still got... This will be 17 to go, 16 and a half this time by. And here comes Ormond back to the low side. And how about Wade Brummer, the 70 car, up to 4th position now. Right behind him, the man who won at Pocono, Zachary Bitzwar, will be heading to Pocono 2 races from now, by the way, for the AC Spark Plugs 500. Next race on the tour after this will be at the Magic Mile of New Hampshire International Speedway. That's going to be the next race on the tour after we get done here at Daytona. Orman back to the top spot now. Here comes Matt McIntyre. He'll dip back low. And Orman says, no, thank you. And he goes down to the low side, blocks McIntyre. In the meantime, Seth Colby gets around the number 52 machine as he goes to the low side here. And he come off turn number 2. He'll try to follow in behind Fitzwater in a 52 car, in a 29 car. Meantime, Matt McIntyre goes back to the top spot in number 26. And he'll take the lead back and brings Wade Brummer with him in the 70 car. So Brummer goes to second position now. Into the number 3 position goes car number 29, Zachary Fitzwater. And Zach would love to get a win here at Daytona today. Heard a car up in the distance right there. That is Phil Parker. He's through turns 1 and 2 right now. Well, he's heading down the backstretch right now as the field is in the middle of 1 and 2. So Phil's about maybe halfway down the backstretch right now. Phil's about a half a straightaway ahead of this bunch. And meantime, here comes car 29, Zachary Fitzwater. He'll go to the lead. And meantime, Cole Deaver's going to squeeze that black number 3 down low. Look at Deaver go. Cole Deaver, they're taking the Dale Earnhardt colors up in the top 5 now. Deaver won the season at Rockingham. And he would love to get another. He would like to get his first restrictor plate victory in his career in this series, though. And he would like to have it driving the car of his favorite idol, Dale Earnhardt. Down the backstretch, and here comes number 12, Rob Evans down low, one of the 2 Buicks in the field. Him and Johnny Gardner are the only 2 drivers driving a Buick this season, and both have won this season. Gardner was at Bristol, and Evans was at Texas this season. And meantime, Wade Brummer in a 70 car, he moves back out in front. He had some great momentum on the outside of the track with the help of Cole Deaver in the 3. And here they have caught that 5 car, Phil Parker. So what's going to happen now as they get up to the back of his car here? We're about halfway through this event now, by the way. Brummer to the high side. Evans down low. Let's see what happens here as they come off the second turn. And they are going to try to split Parker up the middle of the track here. So Evans and Brummer pass him on both sides. And here comes Kat Betts in 27. She's got another girl, Jean Samper, behind her in 98. A pair of red cars down the below side here. One's a Ford, the other a Chevy. The McDonald's Ford and the Banquet Frozen Food Chevy as they come off turn number 4. And where did Zach Rogers come from, that number 1 car? Rogers up to the top 5 now. And you remember he won our last play race on the tour at Talladega Super Speedway in the Winston 500. That was one of his 2 victories of the season. His other came in the first Gene in 400 at North Wilkesboro. Back straightaway they come here. It is now Kat Batson out in front in car 27. And here comes number 66, the man who surprised them all at Charlotte, Ryan Brommer. And he usually seems to run well in the 400, it seems like. No matter what ride he's in, his best finish in this race was a second. That one was almost a win, too, because he came with about maybe a bumper like the beating Dylan Young to the line, but Dylan inched him out in that very race. And Brommer was sick about that, I would imagine, but he would like to get his second victory of his career and season in this race, obviously, too. And here comes number 1, Zach Rogers to the low side as he takes car number 1 to position number 1, tries to, dips down, and he has the lead. So Zach Rogers goes to the top spot. And Brian Brommer with Wade Brummer right behind him. Brommer and Brummer. That's kind of a catchy duo name, I guess. But Kat Batson, she's got the momentum on the high side of the track here, and she still beats Rogers to the line. So I thought Rogers was going to pull ahead and lead that lap. But Ryan Brummer also passed him too. So Ryan Brummer is going to make a 3-1 with Rogers at the middle. And Brummer and Samper both go by. And that's Gene Samper. That means another Samper's coming along. That's number 24, Charles Sanford to the low side in the DuPont Chevrolet. Charles, another two-time winner. He won a season at Atlanta and Riverside. Coming down for 9 laps to go now in the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. There you have it, folks. There you see it, folks, right there. You paid your money. Now take your choice. Any of these 40 cars can win this race. Remember, the 5-car Phil Parker is not on the lead lap. He's in 41st position after problems at the start of the race. So any of the other 40 can win this race. And here comes number 24, Charles Everett, as he'll try to take the Jeff Gordon cars up to the front spot. Nathan Hudson tries to block him, but he gets shoved up the track here. But let's remember, too, the high side has been working to the advantage of Sun here. And he's able to get the run on the high side and pull ahead for the lead. Now, that could be a determining factor as this for if this race is going to be a finish, like what you saw right there coming to lead the lap. It could be a determining factor, and it was for Hudson that time. He still led the lap, though, but here comes Stanford and Ryan George on the low side. And I tell you what, that 70-car Wade Brummer, I'd be watching him right now, him in here, because he's got a strong car in that J.D. McDuffie machine. Brummer is way down in the standings, but as a matter of fact, too, though, he would like, as his best finish was a second to Rob Evans at Texas this season. And meantime, another surprising driver, Alex Miller, goes to the lead in car number 83, the Bullseye Barbecue Sauce Oldsmobile. And speaking of Ford, here comes a pair of them there. Number 10, Paul Minnick, and number 21, Quentin Moore. Quentin Moore had a great run on the Pepsi 400, though, until he got caught up in a late race melee. You're on board Quentin Moore's car. And Quentin would love to get a win here at Daytona as well, too. Driving the 1992 cars of his favorite driver, Morgan Shepherd, as they go into turn number 3. Meantime, the man who won that race at Michigan, Ryan George, goes to the lead now. Number 14, the Kellogg's Cornflakes Chevy. Meantime, Quentin Moore also has our rear bumper cam here, as we now have 6 laps remaining here at Daytona. And that's what it's like to right off the back bumper at over 200 miles per hour, 202 miles an hour, as it was the last time by. Boy, 200 mile an hour cars coming right into your living room. Alex Miller pulls up behind him, tries to give him a draft here. More up to the high side now. Meantime, number 21, he heard him have to back up the throttle just a little bit, come off that 4th corner. 5 laps to go now. Parker that time by clocked in the 5th position. Ryan George leads, Levi McIntyre in 2nd position, and Keith Batson up to 3rd spot, car number 20, the outside pulser for this event. McIntyre, meantime, goes to the top spot, and now he and Keith Batson side by side, 17 and 28. Batson down low, he has pulled ahead by about half a car, but McIntyre's got the draft on the outside of the track. Who leads this lap? Will it be Batson or McIntyre? That's going to be close to the line. Levi comes back to lead that lap. On board Levi McIntyre's car number 17, as we're now down to 4 laps remaining. Levi, a former winner here in the Pepsi 400. Keith Batson, I don't think he's ever won the 400 before, I don't think. He might have now. I have to double check that. Jordan Anderson up to 2nd position now, car number 90. He's very much in this thing too. 3 laps remaining in this race here. Quentin Moore, car number 21, now goes up to second place now. And Jacob Thibodeau, he could surprise, and so could Mitchell Collins in the 20 car. And let's remember, this is where Mitchell Collins won his only race in this Castrol GTX Cup Series career when he drove the number 40 car with this mod in season 21 when he won the Pepsi 400. And Mitchell could possibly do it again here as he comes off turn number 4. He's now in second position, or tries for second position now. 2 laps to go at Daytona. Dylan Young's now up there. Christian Russell's up there. Jesse Turner, William Brock. Like I said, just you take your choice here. Who do you think's going to win it? Like I said, any of the 40 cars on the lead lap can pull it off here. Dylan Young goes up the high side now. Christian Russell looks low. I could think either him or Turner, or maybe even Brock maybe in the catbird seat right now. Young is shut to the high side. Here comes Christian Russell to the low side. Off turn number 4 to come. That's 3 wide for the lead here. Christian Russell and Dylan Young side by side. White flag. 1 lap remaining at Daytona. Dylan Young, car number 2 out in front, looking for the lead. Here comes Jesse Turner, number 94, to the low side. William Brock, he's not as yet. Adam Garcia, he could surprise and maybe win this race. Down the backstretch, Brock is on the high side here. Here comes Jesse Turner. He comes to the inside of Dylan Young. They go to the third turn. Brock slams the door on Garcia as they go to the third and fourth turns now. Turner has pulled ahead. Here they come up the fourth corner. Jesse Turner, the number 94 Sunoco Ultra Oldsmobile. They're coming to the start finish line. He's going to pull ahead and win it. Jesse Turner wins the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. What a drive by Jesse Turner, the number 94 Sunoco Ultra Oldsmobile, gets his first ever Daytona victory as he wins under the lights in the Pepsi 400. Tremendous finish over Dylan Young and William Brock for that fact as well. Wow. I'm out of breath here. I think I may need a breather here before we do record the race at New Hampshire. That is some tremendous stuff. Look at the average speed, 200.757 miles an hour. That's racing. Here, Jesse Turner wins the race. William Brock finishes second. Dylan Young was third. Fourth will go to Quentin Moore, and Adam Garcia comes home in fifth position for the second race in a row. He comes home fifth, as a matter of fact, too. Had 2 top 5s in a row. And he comes home top 5 in both races at Daytona as well, too. So excellent job at the number 11 team. Keith Batson comes home 6th. Jessica Shelton ends up finishing 7th. We haven't talked about her at all today. She was in the back of the pack all race long, and somehow pulls out a top 10 in the late stages of this race here. So excellent drive by Shelton to make her way back to the field. Started from the pole, led the first lap, I think, in this race, but didn't lead since, unfortunately for her. But she still should have the points lead coming out of this race. Christian Russell comes home 8th. How about Jordan Anderson? 9th place for him in the number 90 car. And Mike Becker, we haven't talked about him at all today, and he ends up finishing 10th in the King Richard Petty cars as he got edged out by Anderson by about a scant 0.02 of a second for that 9th spot, but still a top 10 for Mike Becker nonetheless. Mitchell Collins comes home in 20th, comes home 11th, excuse me, not 20th. I'm reading the car number instead of the positions, actually. Levi McIntyre finishes 12th. Kev Shear 13th. Jacob Thibodeau 14th. Joshua Osborne 15th. Jay Jefferson 16th. 17th will go to Matt Haas as a frustrated Phil Parker comes on the pit road. I'm sure very displeased with his performance for sure. Matt Haas is 17th, Henry Samper 18th, Ryan George 19th, and Alex Miller ends up finishing in 20th. The rest of the finishers here for you in today's event goes like this. 21st will go to Dylan Poteet, then Charles Saber 22nd, Johnny Gardner 23rd, 24th was Paul Minnick, Cole Deaver 25th, then Benjamin Miles, Kat Batson, Laura Chung, Jackson Haywood, and Nathan Hudson was the top 30. Two of the top runners in this field here. Seth Cole and Kyle Matthews. Bad days for them. 31st and 32nd. 31st for Seth and Matthews for 32nd. Definitely not the runs that those two won here today. Gene Sanford 33rd. Rob Evans 34th. Wade Brummer 35th. Nathan Orman 36th. Those two are up there within the last 10 laps of this race, and then they got shuffled back late in the going. So did Ryan Brummer. So did Matt McIntyre. Zach Rogers. That's not 39th for him. That's not the run he needed. And Zachary Fitzwater 40th. Ditto for him too. And then, of course, as we mentioned, Phil Barker, he's got to be Phil Barker 41st, 2 laps down. And like I said, very displeased with that run, I would imagine, too, for the Ragin' Cajun out of Louisiana. But through it all, Jesse Turner snaps a big winless streak and wins the Pepsi 400 in a tremendous finish here today as he gets his first ever win at Daytona here. If you like what you see here, be sure to subscribe to the NNSCRA Sports and Gaming channel. We got everything on this channel. We got interests, we got gaming videos. Whatever the president of the NNSCRA Seth Cole desires for his channel, be sure to check out Seth's Duracell Cup series as well, too. I guarantee his races are a whole lot better than what I have to offer, too, as his series is in full swing. So that will do it here today at Daytona here. And for now, this is James Qualls. This has been a production of the NNSCRA. Off on Racing at its best. We will see you at the Magic Mile at New Hampshire.